I just read a book. Hey kids, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. I make videos about movies, TVs, books, and writing. I didn't think I was gonna be making another video about It Works so damn soon, so I don't even remember how I found this out. I think I may have seen a post either on Instagram or Twitter, but the CEO of It Works' daughter, Cami Pentecost, and Denise Walsh, who is one of their Black Diamond leaders, as a matter of fact, I think she might have been their first Black Diamond leader, wrote a book. Great! So the name of the book is Retire Your Husband, a Mom's Guide to Making Millions with Network Marketing. The book is 98 pages long. It's super short. It's got like a lot of editing mistakes, but you know what, in fairness, it's not any more than I would see in like, any other book of, a self-published book that, maybe only made it through 2 or 3 beta reads. I mean, everyone's human. Like even like fully print books. I'm sure that well, maybe not the Spanish English dictionary, that's probably absolutely correct. But I mean, even then, like if I looked in this book, like perfect phrases for dealing with difficult people, I'm sure I would find some editing issues, some typos and misspellings or whatever. So I didn't really see, I saw quite a bit of it, but I didn't see like way more than I would normally see in any other book. So I just want to be fair with that. Now here's the thing, there's no really like, there aren't even really strategies in here. There's only 10 chapters. The chapters are incredibly short. I think it took me like an hour and a half to get through this book. But there's not really any kind of like strategy in here. There aren't any like helpful tips and tricks. There really just isn't much, you guys. There just isn't very much substance. It's extremely repetitive, like extremely repetitive. Half of the chapter names, are never actually addressed in the chapters themselves, because the chapter names are things like, what does retiring your husband really mean? That would be chapter 1. And it doesn't say dick about what retiring your husband really means. Each chapter is a question posed, and none of them are answered. None. So now we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive. I'm not going to go over everything that I highlighted because it is quite a bit, and my last few videos have been really long, and I kind of want to dial that back a little bit, but I do want to share some of this crap that I highlighted with you guys because some of it is just, it's too much. I can't do it. So the introduction is literally like a sales pitch. I mean, that's what it sounds like. I'm going to read it to you. This is all I have highlighted right here, as you can see. It's a lot. Are you stuck in a job that you can't stand? Sick of your boss making far more money than you for doing far less work? Tired of making sacrifices because you never have any extra money at the end of the month? If you can relate to any of these feelings, I want you to know that there is a better way to work. There is a way to work the hours you want with whomever you want and earn as much income as you want. It takes very little money to get started, and there is no formal experience required. How is this possible? Believe it or not, network marketing is the vehicle that can make all of this possible if you apply the principles outlined in the following chapters. I'm still looking for those principles, by the way. I've already finished the book and I'm still looking for those principles. But before you put this book down because of a bad experience you or a friend had in this industry, do me a favor and forget everything you've ever heard or thought about MLMs up until now and hear me out. Network marketing is not the business it once was. Once upon a time, this was an industry where cold calling and soliciting strangers were the primary forms of finding prospects, and it was nearly impossible to succeed. Spoiler alert, it is still like that. You are still cold messaging people, even if you want to argue with me and say, well, I'm not cold messaging them because when I message them, I'm not messaging them about the business opportunity. I'm just messaging them trying to be their friend and like trying to get to know them, and that's not cold messaging. No, it is cold messaging. I'm very sorry to tell you, but it is cold messaging because you don't know this person and you're just going in there to strike up a conversation with the ultimate goal of presenting them with the business opportunity. So even though you don't lead with the business opportunity and you try to like get to know them, more than likely so that you can get to know things about them that you can later use against them, whether you're aware of it or not, that's what you're doing. It's still cold messaging. So there's that. So this is from chapter 1, and I have to share this with you because I'm a writer too, and for her to use this example really irked me like a lot. And I want to see if maybe I'm overreacting or being annoying. So I'm going to share it with you guys. If you aren't familiar with the concept of residual income, think about it like this. When J.K. Rowling wrote the infamous Harry Potter series, she wasn't paid a lump sum at the end of every book she finished and sent home afterward. Instead, she made an investment in herself and her work and got paid for it gradually over time. Even though it has been more than a decade since the first Harry Potter book was released, Rowling is still getting paid for it. She's also getting paid for the 6 books after that, and the 7 movies after that, and the countless masses of memorabilia and merchandise after that. In short, her work is done, but her paychecks are not. Okay. First of all, the investment that J.K. Rowling made in Harry Potter was the investment of walking her ass from her flat to, like a cafe or a coffee shop that she went into with her daughter in a stroller. She sat down at a table with her daughter sleeping and she wrote longhand the first Harry Potter book. And do you have any idea how many times she edited and rewrote that first book? And then she continued on to the second book. But she wrote it all longhand on paper. That was her investment. Cramps in her hand and walks to the cafe. Secondly, she was not paid a lump sum at the end of every book. I really don't think that that's what happened. Like, that's not how most book deals work. She already knew that it was going to be more than one book. In fact, why do I want to say, please correct me if I'm wrong, but why do I want to say that she had written up to book 3 by the time she got a deal for book 1? I wonder if I could ask Alexa Dunn about this. So more than likely what happened, from what I've learned from Alexa Dunn, who is a published author, she's a traditionally published author here on YouTube, and from what she has said about the industry, you get an advance. You get an advance and you do get royalties after the book comes out. You get a percentage, but it's definitely not as much of a percentage as one might think. So you putting this in this book without knowing any of this, it really ticked me off. Like, it really ticked me off a lot, because you're speaking on something with authority. You're speaking on something that you literally have no idea anything about. She's getting paid residuals. Yes, she's getting paid royalties every time she sells a book or every time they put out a new collection. She's getting a percentage. But so is her agent, so is the publishing house, so is, her editor, I'm sure the cover designer, I'm sure her publicist, I'm sure she has lawyers on retainer, so they probably get a cut because they probably helped her with her contracts. You don't know. And the fact that you put this in here, like, with authority, just really pissed me the hell off. Like, it really pissed me off. Savvy, I know you're watching this. Did that piss you off as much as it pissed me off? Am I overreacting? Like, am I wrong? Am I crazy? Again, still talking about writers and creators in general. Realistically, I know we're not all famous authors, movie makers, and musicians who can just crank out creative masterpieces and get paid on them for the rest of our lives. You oversimplifying piece of doo-doo. Listen, it is not easy to crank out these creative works. It might seem that way because all you see is the release of the works, really. You don't see the time in between. You don't see the sleepless nights. You don't see, like, the crazy ass hair on day 5 of, like, editing when you've literally stayed up for the last 5 days because you need to get the scene edited, because it's not that hard, but it is hard in the moment. And creating worlds and creating character arcs and creating storylines that are not only cohesive, clear, concise, but they make sense and they say something, that's not easy. So I don't know what this crank out creative masterpiece, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't want to spend too much time on this book because honestly, Like, I highlighted so much crap in here, but it's all the same shit. Like, it's just, and it's crazy because they say things like, I know some people are immediately skeptical when they hear about others being successful in direct sales or network marketing because of its stigmas as a pyramid scheme or get rich quick scam. But the fact of the matter is, people are successful in this industry all the time. That does not mean that it is not a pyramid scheme just because people are successful in it. I mean, people were successful in Ponzi schemes. I guess not that successful because I'm sure most of them are in prison now. But I mean, just because somebody is successful doing a certain thing doesn't necessarily mean that that certain thing is on the up and up. Okay, so this I do want to address. So in chapter 1, Denise writes, in the next chapter, Cami will explain why the stereotypes of network marketing are just plain wrong. So I was actually kind of excited. I was like, ooh, we're actually going to get maybe a little bit of tea. But no, she didn't address that at all in chapter 2. Not at all. Not at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. And the question, like the chapter heading is network marketing the answer to my problems? And they didn't even answer that question. This is as far as she addressed it. The stigmas of this industry stem from the people who act on an impulse and sign up to be a representative without thinking about the long-term commitment of building and maintaining your own business. Then when they're 6 months into the business and haven't seen a paycheck they're happy with, they deem the whole thing a scam and quit. Like, how freaking dismissive. You self-righteous, entitled woman, you. How dismissive of people could you possibly be? And then you claim to care about people? No, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. But you're dismissing an entire group of people that have lost money, that have ruined relationships, that have put themselves into debt. I mean, how could you, when there's so much that these people have lost, how could you put it on them as if they're the problem? That I cannot. I literally cannot with you right now. See, and then she says when they're 6 months into the business and haven't seen a paycheck that they're happy with, they deem the whole thing a scam and quit. But then a couple of paragraphs later, she says most people quit network marketing within the first 3 months of signing up. So which is it, Cami? Which is it? Are they in it for 6 months and they're getting paychecks that they're not happy with? Or are they only in it for 3 months and they're just lazy? Like, which is it? Figure out your lie, girl. Every time I freaking turn the page, bro, I see another highlight that literally makes me roll my eyes. Okay, so needing another way to supplement our fixed single income with little free time to spare and even less money to invest, there wasn't exactly a long list of options available to us. Now, this is Cami speaking. May I remind you that Cami is the CEO's daughter. Real estate, too expensive. And the reason I highlighted that is because Mark Pentecost and Cindy Pentecost have both said, in public they've said this, that they used to flip houses before Mark got into the first MLM that they were a part of. They never named it. Stocks, too risky. Another job, too inflexible. Listen. I can't tell you how many times I've met people that have 2 and 3 jobs because it's necessary. And a lot of times they have 2 and 3 jobs until they find one job that they can leave one of those 3 jobs for, right? They're still working 2 or 3 jobs, but they have one job. One of those jobs is one where they can move up and build a career and build momentum to where eventually they'll only need the one job. That's called life. And to think that this girl was a teacher, that scares the absolute piss out of me. Mark Pentecost was a teacher too, and he was a coach. That scares the absolute shit out of me. But if your boss was not obligated to pay you in any given week, regardless of whether you did your end of the work, would you still show up every morning? Probably not. Listen, I don't know why it is that people in network, well, I know why it is. It's because they try to make it so trivial and unreasonable so that it makes network marketing that much more appealing. I know that that's the trick, but I don't understand why they think that most people will fall for the, you're the one in a pyramid line. I don't get that. That they think actual businesses and actual companies and actual corporations are pyramids because you're working for somebody. Like, are you stupid? Do you understand that corporations like, let's say Best Buy, for example, or Walmart or Target, they have a CEO at the top, yes, but the money flows down. Your money in the network marketing flows up. That's not the way that actual real businesses function. This is from chapter 4. Everyone is a potential customer, but that doesn't mean that everyone wants your product. Listen before you sell. Always be respectful and don't get discouraged when someone says no. All right, that's not so bad, I guess. My teammates see me as a real friend. Real friend. Yeah, there you go. Right there. Real friend. Ha ha. Because I genuinely care about them and their well-being whenever I talk to them. Interesting. If you treat people how you would like to be treated, you really can't go wrong. Even if someone says no, and trust me, they will, it's important that you maintain a relationship with that person. It may be a no right now, but it might be a yes in a few months, or a yes for someone else they know and want to refer to you. Nobody will ever want to refer anybody to you. The sooner you become comfortable hearing no, the sooner you can move past it and find your next yes. I can't. Whenever people are having a tough time getting started, I like to give them the advice of one of my mentors, which is get over yourself. Savvy, if you're watching this, is that a quote from Rachel Hollis? When it comes to recruiting, it's one of the few situations where you can't trust your gut. Everyone is a potential customer or business partner. Gotta get rid of that mentality that we're all in competition with one another and start thinking of ourselves as being in business together. No, because I don't see any of you black diamonds sharing your wealth with your independent distributors all the way the hell at the bottom. Do you even know their names? I would love to hear the answer to that question. Do you even know that without looking at your e-suite? Do you even know the names of your distributors all the way at the bottom? How about your executives? You probably know the names of your rubies because you need your rubies. And while we definitely encourage you to do your homework and attend trainings to get as familiarized as you can with your product and company, we don't want you to confuse spending hours and hours behind books or your computer screen with taking action. Yeah, because that's the thing. They want you to get trained on the stuff. They want you to know about the products and stuff, but they don't want you to read too much, because if you read too much, then you might find out the truth that their products don't really work as well as they say they do, and also they're shady as fuck. If you work longer and harder than 90% of the people who get involved in network marketing, you will retire faster and with more security than 90% of people. Where do you get these statistics? Life is full of temptations, and it's even more difficult to resist them as an entrepreneur who works from home and chooses their own schedule. Can you skip watching the premiere of your favorite TV show to work a couple of extra hours instead? Are you willing to turn out a night out with friends to do some last-minute work before your paycheck is submitted? Savvy, you're an entrepreneur. Would you maybe be willing to make a video on how you balance your duties as an entrepreneur, like how you balance your business with your personal life, things that you like to do, watching TV, going out with, your husband Tyler, or, going to a show, or I don't know what it is you like to do for fun, whatever it is you like to do for fun. You know what I mean? Okay, so here, this ticked me off too, because here she's talking about a woman who, she was a mother, she already had a child, and she had a baby on the way, and her husband was stationed in Afghanistan at the time when she joined itworks. Listen to this shit. She joined this business while she was pregnant with her second child and got to work right away, knowing there would be big expenses ahead of her. Within a year and a half, Shelby was making 5 figures a month, and because Shelby made her family financially independent, the military sent her husband home since he would not be a burden on the economy. First of all, I'm pretty sure they don't send soldiers home just because they're not going to be a burden on the economy. That's first of all. Second of all, screw you for saying that about veterans, that they're going to be a burden on the economy. Like, I know that's not what you said, but that's pretty much what you said. That the only reason they even let him go home is because they weren't going to have to be bothered with him anymore. And that may and well be true. That's like a conversation to have about the military in general, but that is not why they sent him home. The only times that they send a soldier home, if I'm not mistaken, is if their tour is over, or if they get seriously injured, or just injured. Then they send them home. But then you have the balls to say, Cammie, Shelby's self-discipline actually allowed her to retire her husband from Afghanistan. Do you honestly, in your heart of hearts, believe that itworks had anything to do with him being sent home? Do you really think that the military gives a shit about itworks? Moreover, well, they probably have heard of you because you freaking go after their spouses like nobody is safe from you. It's crazy. But do you honestly literally think that because Shelby, his wife, worked for itworks, that, oh, okay, I guess we can send him home now because his wife's an entrepreneur? No. If your teammates look up to you and your leadership and they feel like they've been chosen exclusively for a chance to be mentored by you, they're going to feel important and valuable. Not only that, but because they'll feel like they're the chosen few out of many other possible teammates, they will feel like you personally invested in them and their abilities, so they will be more inclined to prove their loyalty by committing to the business with everything they have. And then in bold, right there at the top, this is important. This is important. This is how you get people to be your lapdogs. They literally just laid it out. Like, I can't. But once you've trained several people to lead their own teams, you can delegate some of those everyday issues, product inquiries and questions, rumors about the company, etc., to your other leaders to take care of. Now, I mean, am I crazy, or did that sound to me like just pass the buck down your downline? I mean, that's what they're there for. That's what you trained them for. They need to take care of all that shit. You just sit back, you know, with your knees apart and just fan yourself till the cows come home, because they're doing all the work. Pass the buck. That's what a great leader does. A great leader, they pass the buck. Savvy, I know I'm directing a lot of questions your way, but I'm genuinely curious, and I probably should have like messaged you with all these questions beforehand, but I'm just like thinking of them now. So would you agree with if I made the statement that a true entrepreneur, a good leader, a good boss, would not ever pass the buck or even perpetuate that idea that it's okay to pass the buck? Or do you agree that it's the responsibility of the owner to come forward and answer questions and, you know, deal with customer concerns and be involved, very hands-on in making sure that the customers are getting a quality product, that the customers are being attended to, that the customers are, you know, finding products that they were looking for, what they want. But I'm like genuinely curious, because that was one thing that I kept thinking was, oh my gosh, if Savvy should read this book. Like, she's an entrepreneur. She owns a small business. You owe it to yourself to at least give this industry a chance. It has changed our lives forever, and we know it can change yours too if you're willing to give your full effort. It only takes a few short years of total commitment to create a passive income for generations. The only question is, are you ready to take action and start living the life of your dreams? And that is the end of the book. Literally, the whole book is their pitch. Their sales pitch, the same sales pitch that they give literally every single distributor that I have ever seen give a training, that I have ever seen a YouTube video of, that I have ever myself interacted with. Literally the same, literally the same things. There's nothing new in this book. Nothing new. It's so hilarious that they thought they needed to like document it into a book, bro. Like, nobody asked for it. You don't say anything. You say a lot, but you say nothing. I don't fucking get it. And the real joke is that it took 2 of you to write it. That's the real fucking joke. That's the true tea. True tea. And that's all I got for you today, kids. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm not going to be doing another video on itworks probably for a while. I've got some really exciting videos coming up. I think I mentioned before, but I don't think I like mentioned specifically what videos I have coming up. I want to, right before the season, the mid-season premiere, I guess, of SVU, so episode 10 airs. It'll air on Thursday, so that Wednesday before it, I'm going to be putting out the review on episode 9. I was going to do them together, but I kind of want to do episode 9 as its own video first, because I do have some predictions that I kind of want to throw out there and see if maybe you guys agree, if you guys have any predictions of your own. I'd love to hear it. I've also got a really fun video where I decided to paint a mural in my office, and I'm pretty sure I already know what the mural is going to be, and I kind of want to document me doing it. But anyway, so much on my mind. I've been falling into some rabbit holes these last few days, which I don't even want to start talking about any of them because then I might really pop off. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell so that you get notifications every single time I post a video. I post every Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.